Hello. We're here. We're gonna discuss a little true crime case while we're gonna be eating Peter Piper pizza. Peter Piper pizza. We didn't get too much. We got like cheesy bread. We got we got cinnamon roll. Cinnamon bread. Bun bread, whatever it is. And then we got a New Yorker pizza.
Tiny.
Who got these things? This is Andrea and this is Gabe. We're gonna just start eating really quick. We're gonna grab our stuff.
No, you just eat and speak.
Okay.
Show the.
Very good.
We all have our right?
Okay. So, well, we live in Texas, and it's important to the case. So this case happened in 1965. 1965, we're getting back then. It happened in Houston, Texas, H-Town. This is the story of the Icebox murders.
Wait, 1960s, when did Ted Bundy happen? 70s?
70s.
And that was in California?
Ted Bundy was in all over. I think he went to multiple states. We're not discussing Ted Bundy.
I know.
But
to give a reference to the audience.
To give a background, okay, we really like true crime. Gabe, have you ever heard true crime cases?
I have. Not this one.
Which one have you heard?
The most mainstream ones.
So we're going to be studying the life of Charles Frederick Rogers, born December 30th, 1921. So Charles Rogers was an American seismologist. Which, do you guys know what that is?
Also, all creepy people are named Charles. Charles Manson.
That's kind of real, actually.
Charles Darwin, I don't know what. Charles Darwin.
The evolutionist. He's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Weirdly obsessed with birds.
Charles Darwin couldn't even know. Okay,
so,
yeah, what's that?
What seismologist?
Seismologist.
Molecule?
He studies earthquakes.
What?
So he studies earthquakes and he's a pilot. So pick one. Like, I don't know which one you want it to be. Did people just have two careers back then?
And he can do both? Hard eyes? So stupid.
Let's go. So, seismology is a scientific study of earthquakes. So he studied earthquakes, he was a pilot. There's not much about Charles in like his younger age. So I'm gonna include a picture of Charles Rogers here. I do want to give a disclaimer, trigger warning. We're gonna be talking about very graphic murder. I think elder abuse. What else?
Elder abuse is kind of new.
Elder abuse is kind of new. Well, does murder of elders count as elder?
No, I don't know.
Okay, well, we're counting that. It's gonna be just obviously a very graphic murder, graphic description of a crime scene. I'm gonna be including some pictures, obviously not super graphic pictures, but they're gonna be in there. So just trigger warning in place, 18 plus preferably. If you're not comfortable with hearing anything too crazy, please refrain from watching. So Charles was enrolled at Texas A&M University in 1942.
He was a gigum.
He was a gigum. He was a gigum, like.
Oh, I wasn't going to say that.
Wrong one, visa. Horns down. Oh no. There's like the TC one. But he later dropped out.
Oh.
So.
Wait, well then where did he get his degree in maniology?
Seismology. I don't know if you need a degree for it. I think maybe he just really liked earthquakes.
Oh.
He enrolled at the University of Houston, where he earned a Bachelor of Science degree in nuclear physics. This man was smart.
Yeah.
Nuclear physics, like, who the hell does that if you're not crazy? Nuclear physics is the field of physics that studies atomic nuclei and their constituents and interactions. Like,
I don't understand anything she just said.
So we walking down the street.
I wouldn't know what I'm saying.
Okay. But he was a vet. So respect their
What?
troops.
Why is he so
When did
many
this happen?
things?
Respect their troops, I guess.
Before COVID?
Oh, a veteran. I thought you meant like a vet. Like. I was like, damn.
Damn,
Earthquake,
three.
pilot.
He
And
was
a
great.
vet.
And murderer. Okay, no. Spice point here. We're getting ahead of ourselves. He was born in Houston, and
Okay, me too.
what's it called? Oh, you're just like him. During World War II, the draft called. They were like, ring, ring, pick up. So Rogers was a pilot in the United States Navy. So it wasn't really like is that considered a career?
Yeah. Oh,
I'd say
was
Not if
he
he's
forced?
stuck with it.
He's studying for seismology.
Mhm.
Well, he already got his degree in nuclear physics. But Rogers was a pilot, which I'm pretty sure was mandatory for the draft for people to go. So he was a pilot in the US Navy, and he served in the Office of Naval Intelligence. So this man was kind of up there. It's a military intelligence agency to advance the Navy's modernization efforts. So, after the war though, he worked as a seismologist for Shell Oil Company. So, big company. It's the little, I'm gonna include a picture of the logo. It's like the yellow shell. For 9 years.
Oh.
But in 1957, he abruptly quit his job without giving any explanation. So, there's not too much background on this man because he was always a very like low key, keep to like he didn't have any romantic relationships, anything like that. Not that it's known.
Like there was no police record or anything.
He didn't have a criminal background. He seems like is he white?
I think, yeah.
Not that that matters.
So I think the only weird thing we can kind of see, I mean, might not be weird, but it's like dropping out of one university and enrolling in another.
He's doing too many things.
It's a lot going on.
Well, because he got drafted.
No.
No, but he dropped the university in 1942. I don't know when. During World War II. When did World War II begin?
Ended in 1942.
So friends and associates of Rogers said that he was highly intelligent, and he had a talent for finding gas, oil, and gold for the companies for which he worked. He also spoke 7 languages and had an interest in ham radios. Do you guys know what a ham radio?
That's so random. That's like a very known radio, but 7 languages is crazy.
Like, what languages do you guys think he spoke?
Dude, it's English, Spanish for sure, Mandarin, some Arabic language,
Does it-
Probably Spanish.
German?
Probably Spanish.
German.
Probably German because of World War II.
II.
Mid-1950s, Rogers joined the Civil Air Patrol, which is a chartered federally supported nonprofit corporation that the United States Air Force does. He reportedly met David Ferry, who was also an American pilot and an alleged conspirator in the assassination of President John F. Kennedy.
Wait,
So,
I don't understand. Who did he meet?
this David Ferry.
Okay.
So David Ferry is not a big person in our story today, but this is background of what else happened. So mid-1950s, he met this person 10 years before this case happened, and this person was an alleged conspirator in the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. So kind of interesting, where it's like, okay, he could have a possible link to JFK. So in 1965,
He quit.
Rogers was unemployed.
He already quit.
He already quit. And he was living with his elderly parents, Fred Christopher. He was born January 1884. Like, that's, I don't know why that's so crazy.
The grandparent?
The parents. Elderly parents.
Wait, is that symbolism?
This man's like 40 living with his
Wait,
parents.
low life. He has a bunch of stuff.
Low life. He has a lot of things. He had a lot of things going for him. Like, it's like, what do you mean you work for Shell Oil as a nuclear physics seismologist? Like, I feel like that's a very
Like
important
he
job.
was like renowned?
Yeah, like he was a very important person he worked in the Office of Naval Intelligence, very high position in the US Navy, and then he just quits. He lived with his elderly parents, Fred Christopher, born January 19th, and Edwina Ivor Rogers, born October 8th, in the Montrose neighborhood of Houston. So the Montrose neighborhood is located in central Houston, And it's a pretty nice neighborhood. Like, it's nothing crazy would go on here. Typical white. He was described as reclusive, which
Introverted?
Yeah.
No.
All of these people are. I feel like it's very common.
Is it not pretty common for them to be like very outgoing and friendly?
There's a mixture of extrovertedness,
Mhm.
like slight introvertedness. It really just depends. But once they're creepy, it's more like,
We were talking about Ted Bundy earlier. I feel like there's different cases where people are like, oh, he was so charismatic and friendly, and some people are like, he was really creepy and weird.
Like it was very obvious.
No, I mean like, different people saw it different ways.
Oh, the same person.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like some people were like, oh, like he was super charismatic and friendly, and other people were like, I could tell he was weird. So this man, like I said, no relationships, no nothing. He had nothing going for him right now. So he was unemployed, living with his parents. Described as reclusive, Rogers was reported to have communicated with his parents by notes slipped under his door. Like,
he took it to a next level.
he don't even know. Like, what do you mean? Like,
He said COVID.
this man was in quarantine before Nikki. So neighbors were unaware that Rogers even lived with his parents, as he generally left the house before dawn and did not return until after dark. So where he was going, I don't know, because he was unemployed. So I don't know where this man was going.
And he didn't have relationships.
Mm-hmm. Not that it's like accounted for.
Who's starting the earthquakes?
So as I said their names, Fred and Edwina, I'm gonna include a picture of them here. As you can see, elderly people.
Yeah, I want to see.
So this is Fred and Edwina.
Wait, are they the elderly abused, or we're gonna find out?
These are, I mean, they were killed. Fred and Edwina were killed.
Edwina, Fred and Edwina are the parents?
Parents.
We're getting ahead.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
No.
So
Is this how they looked?
this is how they looked
Like when? No, I mean like when they were.
when they died. So they were very elderly. Obviously their son is 40. So these people are, like, they were born in the 1880s and their man, it's like 1960.
They're like 80.
Okay, so slight plot twist. So we're thinking, the way the story's going, I feel like, well, at least me, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I'd be like, okay, this man's just crazy, killed his parents.
Were they abusive?
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
As authorities pieced together the Rogers family life, they found that Charles might have had a motive to kill Fred and Edwina. So, according to the Icebox murders by forensic accountants Hugh and Martha Gardner, Rogers had endured their manipulative behavior for years. They had taken out loans in his name, robbed him of his savings, and made his life a living hell. So, this article says a living hell. Obviously, that can be interpreted. But taking out loans in his name, robbing him of his savings, this man had a massive career.
That's true. That's why he had to live with them. 'Cause he had no money.
But to go back to them?
I mean, where else is he gonna live? He has no money.
He didn't move out. This man never
Oh, he
moved out.
never moved out.
He went to college, but he lived in Houston already. He went to the University of Houston. Slight backstory to that. There's not many details to that. That's all this the articles I found say. Where it's like, they took out some loans in his name. They were just kind of weird. And so this man never moved out because he didn't have any money to. And he was enduring abuse from his parents. Obviously, this leads us to the day of the murder. Yeah.
Alright.
2 Houston police officers were dispatched to the Rogers home to conduct a welfare check after Edwina's nephew Marvin reported that his phone calls to his aunt had gone unanswered for days. So people cared about these people. Like, they were like, okay, where are they? What are they doing? Like, they were calling them.
They had other family.
Yeah, they had other family.
So did he have siblings?
No, this is his
Oh,
nephew.
nephew.
So Marvin goes to the house. He's like, hello. Like, he received no answer after knocking. So Marvin went with officers and they forced their way into the Rogers home. Upon entering, the officers found nothing crazy. Like, they were like, okay, like,
I thought you were to be like, blood, ice.
no. Like, they were like,
Ice.
okay, nothing crazy. But they noticed food sitting on the counter. So they were like, hello, like, are these people here? Like,
Super weird.
what's going on? So weird.
Alarming.
Alarming. And one officer was like, I'm gonna open the refrigerator. So he opened the refrigerator and he's like, oh, like, I think they just got some meat in from the butcher. This is literally a quote from the police officer. He's like, I thought they had just butchered a hog. He's like, based on their fridge. So, the officer later recalled that he thought the meat was that of a butchered hog. As the officer was closing the door, he noticed 2 human heads visible in the vegetable department, like the vegetable bin.
Insert
of
a
the
photo.
Insert photo. Okay. The heads were those of Fred and Edwina. What the officer originally thought were unwrapped cuts of hog meat were the couple's dismembered limbs and torsos. The organs had been removed, cut up, and flushed down the toilet, while the other remains were never found.
Oh?
What the hell's going on?
Like, how did this happen? How did we get here?
Who? This is the day of the crime. Police officers are just seeing this. They're like, what is going on? Police determined that Fred and Edwina had been killed on June 20th, on Father's Day. An autopsy showed that Fred was bludgeoned to death with a claw hammer. So I'm gonna insert a picture of a claw hammer. It's just a regular hammer.
Oh, my bad. That's so good. I thought that was a new crazy hammer.
Like,
never
whoa,
before
like a
seen.
mallet, like no. It's used in carpentry for driving nails into the.
Okay.
Yeah. So his eyes had been gouged out. I don't know with what. I don't know with hands. I don't know with any. He doesn't give details. So his genitalia were removed. Yeah. So that's really, I think in any murder, it's like, okay, obviously this person's very angry because it's like dismembered, but it's also kind of like a humiliation thing where it's like by removing the genitalia.
Do you think it had something to do with the father might have done something to him, implying the removal of the genitalia?
Maybe so.
Because that's what people
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know. It doesn't say anything in the story about.
We will never know.
But that is very much a humiliation thing where it's like obviously removing someone's genitalia.
It's like you could have just. It's giving when people strangle someone to death. You don't strangle a stranger.
Mhm.
You strangle someone because you hate them.
Because you have anger.
Yeah.
Bludgeoned to death with a claw hammer. Eyes gouged out. Which is also a very extremely violent thing.
Damn.
Yeah.
Like-
and the rest of the house is just clean. Like, there's
There was no
signs
blood.
outside. Yeah.
These people hadn't been killed recently. They found them on June 23rd. They were killed 3 days prior.
Wait, both of them had their eyes.
No,
Oh,
only Fred.
damn, Fred was hater.
So Edwina had been beaten and shot execution style in the head. So this man beat her up, sat her down on a chair, shot her face forward. Crazy. And police further said that the bodies were dismembered in the upstairs bathroom by a person with some knowledge of anatomy.
Oh.
Because there was little blood in the house, and it appeared that it had been thoroughly cleaned after the murders. What little blood was found led to Charles' bedroom. Charles, you're being sloppy. Like, you already did all this, and then you're gonna leave drops of blood.
That's true. Very smart man.
Like, what do you mean you dismembered them perfectly and, like, drained their blood and cut off their genitalia, but you're gonna leave drops of blood?
A literal trail to your door.
Like, you're being sloppy.
Why was it to his door? Well, I guess it probably just got
Yeah.
right.
Wow.
He was just walking to his room to check.
Take it out.
So, there the police found a bloodstained keyhole saw.
Wait, what?
What the hell is a keyhole saw? Do you know what that is?
Is it like the single hand one?
A long, narrow saw used for cutting small, often awkward features in building materials. Okay. But no trace of Rogers himself. Where is he? A search for Rogers was launched, and a warrant was issued for him as a material witness to the crime, but he was never found.
Oh.
We're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. But Rogers was never found.
Oh. Like that's point blank
Like-
period.
Yeah.
Like, there's, okay, we're gonna get into more of it. Flushing organs down the sewer, that's crazy. Like, I can't.
I mean,
Anyways.
how else was he supposed to get rid of him?
I guess so.
He didn't get rid of much, to be fair.
That's true.
Like, was he gonna eat them?
Yeah.
I think
But he was already gone.
no. I think he put them specifically in the fridge because he didn't want it to smell bad. He said, "Wait, you're saying he was never found ever?
He was never found ever.
Where did he go? Did he find a wife? Does he have children? Or is there little Charles walking around in today's world?
Okay.
It's me.
Come again?
So,
Oh, is that him?
this is Charles.
Wait, cut that out. I didn't mean it like that. I meant it in like.
She
what?
did.
You were smiling.
No, I meant
You're
it
in
like.
here. Wait. Oh wow.
I meant it in a. He's not. I thought we were gonna see like Charles Manson typing, like ugly. But this is a sophisticated
Like he's
white.
bad.
No, this is sophisticated. I can't say.
It's over. You're digging
A
it.
You're digging a hole deeper.
A sophisticated young man.
Very renowned, educated young man.
Yeah.
Who served very highly in the U.S. Navy. That's what we're getting at.
Yeah.
So, the officers began a nationwide search. However, it yielded nothing. They checked local airfields as Rogers learned how to fly while serving in the Navy. And he was officially declared dead 10 years later in 1975.
Why?
I don't know.
Of age or what?
He was 50.
They're like, there's no way.
But only
So-
at the age of 60, they just declare him dead.
It says declared dead July 1975, age 53. So it says declared dead in absentia, which it's a presumption of death. It occurs when an individual is believed to be dead despite the absence of direct proof of the person's death. Such as finding remains or things like that. Or a presumption is made when a person has been missing for a really long time.
Okay.
So it says in 1975, so 10 years, they were declaring him dead. It says so his estate could be probated.
What's
So
Is that to like sell all the
his will is like accepted as a public document, and like whatever's done in it, I guess it's done. So it says the case still remains unsolved, and Rogers is officially the only subject. Houston forensic account. So a bunch of people, obviously, when you have a case as gruesome and graphic as this, especially when
I was about to say pull it up.
it has never been seen before. A lot of people were really interested in like, hello, where the hell did this man go? Like,
Yeah.
where did this man go? Why did he kill his parents? Obviously, years of abuse, but it's like, why so graphically and brutally? And where did you go?
Yeah.
Like, how did you disappear without a trace? He had left the nation already.
They
Like,
had no money.
he had no money. He probably had contacts though.
Wait, pause. And he knew 7 languages. He could have gone anywhere.
Mhm.
Wow.
Very smart, well-educated man left the country. So Houston forensic accountant Hugh Gardner and his wife Martha have continued to investigate this case, and they concluded that Rogers did murder his parents and was later killed in Honduras. So, how the hell
Wait,
was
how
this
did
man in
they?
Honduras?
How did they get to Honduras?
And how would they just assume he was killed?
So, the Gardners believe that Rogers planned the murder of his parents for years because his father was abusive, and both parents were devious con artists, according to the Gardners. According to them, Fred worked as a bookie who regularly engaged in illegal activities such as gambling and fraud. So a bookie accepts and pays out bets on sporting and other events at agreed upon odds.
They kind of like organize the betting.
Mm.
Like you pay them, they'll hold on to the money, and then they'll give you back if you win.
Okay, so that's what, according to them, Fred was this. So his dad.
Mhm.
And it kind of makes sense because it's like taking out loans in his name,
Mhm.
like all this. Like they believed he continued abusing Charles into adulthood and began stealing large sums of money from him. The Gardners
No.
claim
No, kinda.
the Gardners claim that after Rogers killed and dismembered his parents, he fled the U.S. for Mexico, and was never found because he was aided by powerful friends he met through the ham radio hobby while working for various oil and mining companies, which makes sense.
Yeah.
They have theorized that Rogers eventually made his way to Honduras, where he was killed over a wage dispute with miners. So he worked in a mine,
Oh,
and they were discussing money,
Okay,
and
but
they killed him.
how do they know that that's what happened? They're just conspiring?
Obviously, I'm sure they have more reason, but they wrote a whole book about this.
Oh!
Like, they wrote a whole book. Okay, so there are many unnamed characters in the book, various politicians and attorneys, as well as the eyewitness who said he saw Rogers in Honduras after 1965. Publishers Weekly referred to the novel as fact-based fiction. So where it's like, you kind of are grasping at straws, but it's like, okay, there's some kind of... So the house at which the murders took place was 1815 Driscoll Street. It remained empty, and it was torn down in 1972. And there's apartments there now.
Oh,
How sweet.
So all of that happened where it's like, okay, they think he fled to Mexico. They think he died in Honduras. No ever mention of a romantic relationship, any children, nothing. But Roger's life was documented in 1992, the book The Men on the Grassy Knoll by John R. Craig and Philip A. Rogers. According to this book, Rogers was a CIA agent who postulated to have impersonated Lee Harvey Oswald in Mexico City. So do you guys know who Lee Harvey
Wait,
Oswald
I'm
is?
so confused. What's happening?
How did
That's
he
the
get
man-
into this?
That's the man that killed John F. Kennedy.
Mhm.
Okay,
So
okay,
there's
okay.
a weird correlation between this man and John F. Kennedy's death.
This is
So
the
they
second
believed
time.
that there is like some proof of him in Mexico City being like, oh, I am Lee Harvey Oswald, and like this, along with Charles Harrelson, was one of the two shooters involved in the assassination of President Kennedy. The authors contend that Rogers, Harrelson, and Chauncey Holt, this is another person, were the three tramps arrested in Dealey Plaza after the assassination, and that Rogers murdered his parents because his mother was tracking his many telephone calls. In this account, Rogers fled to Guatemala. So these are like conspiracy theories that people have made of like, hello, where did he go? Why was he in Honduras? Why was he in Mexico?
It all comes down to that radio.
What correlation does he have to John F. Kennedy? And they were saying that might have been another reason why he killed his mom, because the mom was like, hello, what are you doing? Okay, so according to these men who wrote the book, The Man on the Grassy Knoll, Rogers was one of the people that were spotted like running away from after shooting JFK. So according to them. So Craig and Rogers suggest that Charles Rogers had recorded his involvement in Kennedy's death in his diaries. When his parents uncovered the diaries, he killed them. This allegation about Charles Rogers' past remains unproven, but the Gardeneers claim to know where he ended up. So,
Wait, JF Kennedy died and then he killed his parents, or he killed his parents and then JF Kennedy died?
John F. Kennedy died in 1963.
Okay, so it's
He killed his
suspected
parents in
that
1965.
it's suspected that he was a part of JFK's murder, and then the mom figured
The
it
mom
out,
found
and
it out.
then he killed his parents. Wait, that's a big conspiracy.
In the end, if Rogers did manage to kill his parents and disappear, his theoretical work for the CIA isn't as outlandish as it seems. After all, he left not a single trace, completed his mission, and vanished like a
That's
ghost.
true. He was in the Navy. Earthquake man. Pilot.
He was never seen again.
Strong.
Factually, where there's like facts, he was never seen again. Conspiracies, obviously the Gardeneers dedicated their whole life to studying this case and they wrote a whole book and everything. So they think, I guess that's kind of weird, but they think that he was correlated to, no, they don't think he was correlated to JFK. They think he just went to Mexico City
And died in Honduras.
and died in Honduras because he had correlations from the job. So, and they think that he killed the parents because they were abusive and weird. Which
There's
makes
two
sense.
sides. There's two sides.
I think, I don't know which side do you guys lean more towards?
It's still very harsh to think that that's what led to the dismemberment and the draining and
I don't think, okay, if the parents found out the thing about JFK, that he would murder them like that, I think he would have just and left. I kind of believe more of they were abusive. Or I'd like to believe that they
Also-
were abusive and he did that to them.
Learning what the Gardeneers say about the dad, I think that kind of can explain why he killed, I believe he killed the dad way more brutally than he killed the mom. Cutting off his genitalia and hitting him in the head with a hammer, he beat up the mom and shot her, which was, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously you're still killing her, but it's very much immediate, like you're gone, you're dead.
how did no one hear the gunshot?
That's another question. Maybe he's a silent one, or those one.
Maybe he used a
died.
silencer.
I don't think it would affect that much. You would still be able to hear it.
But like gouging your eyes, cutting it off.
I think they were already dead.
Oh,
But is that an assumption? Or?
I think they were already dead because
But he
you
did-
would hear someone screaming.
that is true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I mean-
Or they would have passed out before that.
But like he did so much stuff to the body that it's like okay, chill.
Hello, the guy thought it was just butcher meat. Like the guy thought it was just carne that you keep in your freezer. Like,
Did he skin it? Well, we don't know.
I guess we'll never know. I'm gonna include crime scene pictures. That's the thing with unsolved cases. There's not much else to go on when it's like, especially if they never found this man again. Like, he can't be like, oh, I did this because of this, or like, oh, I'm never gonna tell you.
That's
or
like the good, not the good part. I should word it better, but like that's the whole point. Like you find out. I thought we were gonna get like I woke up December 2nd.
Also, if it wasn't Charles, who was it? And what happened to Charles?
That is true. What if Charles is dead and he was murdered that day?
What if Charles was framed and killed? And
What if it was
Charles?
his friend? Pause theory. What if it was his friend who killed JFK? And what if the mom?
And he knew that the mom had
found out, and he's like, I can't be dealing with this. I can't be having this right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let me kill your parents. Let me kill you. Make it look like you killed them because you're smart, and let's get out of here.
But didn't everyone already know who had killed JFK?
Okay, not the man who killed JFK.
He was in jail.
Not the man who I figured that out once. I said the man who killed JFK. Not the man who killed JFK, but didn't you say 3 people were conspiring? One of them. One of them. Maybe there was more people conspired. Hello? It's conspired that Charles was a part of it, so there has to be more people a part of it.
And the blood to his room was him getting dragged out of it.
Hello, smart people. Smart people are thinking
And they
about
scrubbed the house down, but they missed a little bit.
that. They want to make it believable. That's another conspiracy.
No,
That's
no.
combining both conspiracies.
No.
Wait, she's gonna try.
I'm gonna try the little.
We should have put them a little bit in the microwave because they're a really good one.
Oh.
They're really good warm. And ask for extra glaze.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, look at her.
That is the Icebox murder case
That's all look at
in Houston, Texas, from 1965. So yeah, that's kind of what we're ending on. It's an unsolved case. We don't know what happened to Charles.
I'm kind of disappointed. What are your thoughts and opinions, all of us? What are your thoughts? Like, we haven't heard from you. What are your thoughts and opinions?
Fred and what's her name? What are their parents' name?
Edwina.
Fred and Edwina were probably disappointed to be murdered too.
No! No! They're like, fuck. They never got my child. They never took him to jail. What were your thoughts on the theories? Who do you think it was that? The abuse?
I kind of want to stick with the Gardeneers just based on the fact that they study this their whole life. And they probably have a bunch of sources and like, there's a reason why they...
Are the gardeners still alive?
I don't know. Should we go interview them? Should I email them?
Are they still interviewing?
Okay, but people wrote books. Like the JFK people wrote a book. The Gardeneers wrote a book. Like, I don't know how thick the book is. Like, is it like a pre-K book? Like, I don't know. But writing books is crazy.
Like, they were into it.
They were into it. Giving Ted Bundy for them. But crazy, I find it so scary where it's like unsolved cases where it's like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean what happened to them?
Where are you going?
What do you mean you're in Honduras?
Like someone can do all this and just leave?
Mm-hmm.
Just go to bed somewhere else?
At least I will say he wasn't a serial killer. Or I mean, we don't know. Maybe he killed someone in Honduras, but maybe he killed JFK too. But so
Maybe he helped kill.
he conspired.
Which is justified.
But at least he wasn't a serial killer.
Is he out there?
Who?
Oh. He was looking strangely at the door. Is Charles out there?
It's actually gone now.
No, yeah. Even if Charles was still out there, he's dead now, guys.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be
he's
scared.
a
Sleep well at night. Yeah. Just be scared about the Austin serial killer. Apparently it's a
Oh,
girl.
the lake. You should have talked about that one.
That's the next video you're gonna have to tune in. No, I thought this was a cool case. It was like, okay, unsolved, but there's some slight conspiracy theories where it's like, what the hell happened to him?
I like that.
And I don't think, I had never heard about this.
Me neither.
Hello, very graphic, very gruesome. Possible cannibal type thing?
Oh?
Was he eating them?
No.
He said there was food on the table.
But I don't think it was.
They didn't specify.
He might have cooked them.
He said one last meal before
Possible
I go.
cannibal, possible. Should I do clickbait like cannibal in Houston?
Cooking the icebox.
Mm.
Out of the veggie fridge.
Do you think he had like sides with it?
No. I don't think he ate his parents.
So if you guys have any other questions, just leave it in the comments and I'll reply. So
Will you reply?
those are the Icebox murders. Thank you all for watching.
Thanks.
This is, I don't know, am I supposed to mention that this is for English 1301 project?
No, you don't have to.
Okay.
I'll say I'm stuffed. I was well fed.
The food was very good.
Thank
Shout out
you.
Peter Piper for feeding us. We paid, but
Not sponsored.
not sponsored by Peter Piper. It's not that great unless you sponsor.
Hey, if Charles never murdered his parents, we would never be eating Peter Pepper pizza today.
Exactly.
On November 16th.
We might be talking about the Austin serial killers. Killers, because apparently there's a group. So don't go out to Rainy Street. Is it Rainy Street? In Austin?
Don't go to Austin.
Rainy, is it the Rainy River?
Who goes to
Lady
Austin?
Bird Lake. It's Lady Bird Lake.
Insert picture of the movie. Lady
Insert
Bird.
picture of Lady Bird.
She with her cast.
What's it called? Well, we're
Where do you
getting
ever
off
heard
topic.
of that?
That's another one. So thank you for watching. Wait, bye.
I'm sorry.
Thank you for having
We had a
us.
very nice time, very funness. We hope you enjoyed the video and learned a little bit more about a true crime case that
Yes.
I did not know anything about.
Me neither.
So yeah, have a great day.
Bye bye.
Sweet dreams.